This reflection is taken almost verbatim from a book called The Mystery of Christ by Father Thomas Keating, an American Cistercian monk. This morning we heard the following two verses from St. Matthew's Gospel. The kingdom of God is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. The kingdom of God is not so much God's inspiration as what the divine action does in us, with or without our cooperation. The kingdom of God is disruptive, to judge by many of the parables. Here we have the parable of the man digging in a field and finds hidden treasure. With the endless movement of armies throughout the Holy Land during the pre-gospel period, people often hid their values in open fields, and with the hope of coming back later and recovering them. So it was not extraordinary for someone digging in a field to come upon a hidden treasure. The parable ends immediately he went and sold everything he had bought and bought the field. The hidden treasure represents something of immense worth that is discovered unexpectedly, prompting the finder to give up all else to secure it. The other story Jesus recounts is of a man who is in the jewellery trade. One day he finds a pearl of great price. He also sold everything he found and bought everything he had and bought the pearl. This purchase would have changed his life in much the same way winning the lottery would change the winner's lifestyle. The kingdom of God breaks through into the course of our ordinary occupations, business and family life, and changes things around. It is what we do with that intrusion that determines whether we enter or belong to the kingdom of God. The willingness to allow God to walk into our lives, tear up our plans and throw them in the wastebasket is a good beginning. These two parables, or stories of Jesus, emphasize the fact that the kingdom of God is what happens. It is not any one thing that happens. It is the fact of God's entering into our lives at any moment and shifting things around, and our consenting to that shifting. Once we have found the pearl of great price or the treasure hidden in the field, a conflict arises between our desire to be open to the continuing intrusions of the kingdom of God and our habitual unwillingness to change or be changed. What do we do with that? The two parables in the present text offer insight and encouragement. The kingdom of God is very near. It is in your hearts and in your minds for your observance.